Hello, guys. I am Brandon Carey, and today we are going to continue to investigate drug-related crimes in LA Noire with everyone's least favorite detective, Roy Earl. Let's get started. I think we start off a brand new case this time. Yeah, brand new case to start off on.
187 at 5810 Murata Avenue. Homicide wants you over there. The coroner thinks the broad was whacked using the army morphine. Don't say anything, Roy. Just get over there.
This is a DLC case. Actually, I remember this was one of the DLC cases for the LA Noire.
Yeah, I'm thinking of
What's
moving
with that
up to
getup
a
of
45.
yours anyway?
I want to put him down to one round.
Start introducing us as Detective Earl, and this is my science teacher, Mr. Phelps.
Your interest in my appearance is starting to get me worrying.
Like it or not, we're a dysfunctional couple now. People judge me with you on my arm same way they would a fat broad with a 5 o'clock shadow.
I really hope you're joking, Roy.
Don't think he is, Phelps.
The cop from the newspapers.
Yeah, this version of the game does have all the DLC pre-installed. I think I'd have to double check. Oh no, there's a DLC bundle that's added I've added to the game. So I think that was purchased separately, but it was on a sale if I had to guess. Because I didn't
You're behind the wheel.
consciously buy this, or if I did, it was years ago.
Seem distracted. We recovered the morphine. Some of it might be unaccounted for, so what? That's life. We did our job.
Closing one case opens another.
Do you have any idea what is really going on while we're wasting our time following this stuff?
Are you going to tell me?
The deals being done right now will change the face of LA forever, and we're wasting our time on some hump.
Someone's little girl.
Visit the morgue at the end of the month when the John and Jane Does are cremated. Their percentages. The odds for and against lightning striking.
Look at all the heart that Roy Earl has. He's got so much heart. All those percentages. They really get to him. It's actually funny because this case actually,
in the back.
this is not follows the story, but it does add some like context, and a lot of the other cases end up doing that, like adding some flavor that the main story does kind of otherwise lack. For example, one of the DLC cases where you introduce the guy from technical services, and this case is special for the reason, and I think we'll see it in a second. Unless I'm thinking of a different case. Yeah, this is the one.
Bukowski, you made Homicide.
That I did. Good to see you, Phelps.
You two want a hug? Or can we get on with it?
Relax, Rusty.
26 years old, fashion model. Found in the tub by the cleaning lady, Mrs. Reynoldson. She called it in.
We heard Carruthers thinks...
Carruthers likes to make work for people. Overdose of sleeping pills. Falls asleep in the tub. Rest in peace. Case closed.
Here, here. Mal is 100% that it's murder.
Do you mind if I take a look around?
Sure. Go right ahead.
So, this case lets you know that Bukowski has made Homicide, and he's now working with Rusty. And if you don't have this case installed, when you leave those desks, you never encounter Bukowski or Galloway ever again in the story. At all. Like, though they might as well be non-existent people at that point. So without this case, like this case actually does kind of like add a layer of finality to both of their characters. Like this is like you're gone, and now those two are kind of like taking over from where you left off, and that's how that story comes to a close. And without, and like, it's not vital to the story that you know that, but without this case, you kind of lose that context. And that actually is some pretty good flavor for the game. Also, Rusty being Rusty and still doesn't want to do any actual work.
Phelps?
Val, we've had a look around. Rusty thinks it's a waste of time. What's your theory?
Come on, Mal. Tell us why we were dragged down here.
If the victim was alive when she entered the tub, water would have entered her lungs. The water is violently churned in the windpipe as she drowns. The result is that a lot of foam is generated. This foam is found at the mouth and nostrils in almost all cases of real drowning. Notice anything about our Vic?
May I take a look?
Be my guest.
Also, I agree with you, Kelly. I actually like Cole's jacket. I don't know what Roy Earl's problem is,
Look at her head and
because
neck.
I think he looks pretty neat. Pretty swanky is actually a good word, Kelly. That's actually exactly how I would describe it.
A very unusual ring.
I could be wrong, but it looks like a black sapphire.
Roy Earl acting out of jealousy is not unheard of. I would totally believe that. Though I think in this case he's just being a spiteful prick.
Bruising on the forearms, and these look like bite marks.
Very good.
Yeah, it's worth noting that like he wanted to work with Cole because he knows Cole is a good worker. He actively hates Cole's guts, but is willing to like put that aside in service of having an easier time solving cases.
The neck is bruised pretty badly.
The eyes are a classic sign of morphine, and the bruises tell their own story.
His laziness
I
trumps his
think one
hatred
man
in this
held her
case.
down, and
That's
another
what I'm
held
trying
her
to say.
arm and injected her. They put her in the bath to try to cover it as a drowning.
And spread a trail of barbiturates.
Take a look around outside on your way out and see if you can find the syrettes. It would make my theory.
And morphine would have been very quick, and there wouldn't have been much of a struggle.
Okay, so find two guys who recently bought syrettes and weren't junkies, and you might be onto something.
This is her in these photos? She's something else.
No, I want to look at the barbiturates.
Miss Julie was...
No. Okay.
Maybe she was having trouble
Not
with
everything
boys.
here is going to be relevant.
Got her
Okay.
couldn't take it anymore.
I guess I can't look at the
So she
barbiturates.
ran
That's
herself a
fine.
bath and down some pills, and then she just drifted off.
I don't know. Miss Julie, she always had so much fire. So much drive. I'm sorry.
Smoking jacket in here.
Quality English smoking jacket. I don't know anyone under 45 who would wear one.
That's not a bad deduction. Like, smoking jackets are kind of the domain of old white dudes. Okay, here are barbiturates. Maybe I can examine these.
Looks like barbiturates.
Yes, okay. You've examined barbiturates. Out of my fucking way, Earl. Out of my fucking way. No.
Barbiturates. What else is rattling around in this thing?
Okay.
We should speak to her doctor. Prescribing both drugs would make her life a roller coaster.
So we've got sleeping pills and what looks like some other drug. Let's see what it said in the Benzedrine. I don't know what Benzedrine does, but you know, you don't tend to mix pills together. That's usually a bad idea, especially sleeping pills. So let's see if I can walk out of here without initiating conversation. Because I do need to talk to her, and I will. But first, we're going to look outside for some opium, or some morphine syrettes. Preferably in a trash can. Probably a trash can right outside somewhere. Oh, I guess I can't investigate out here. So let's return to the crime scene. Oh, here. Surrettes.
Mal will be pleased.
Well, that's hardly conclusive, given the number of those things we've come across recently.
It's evidence,
The
Roy.
autopsy will confirm it one way or another.
Stop being lazy. I give enough evidence to begin a conversation with the lady who is in... I wonder if we can talk to these boys. Guess not. Alright, let's see if there's something over here we can take a look at. Wait, photos of the victim.
This is all top end of town stuff. Gives us somewhere to look.
Okay, nothing here. Let's look at the other two photos.
There's been a modeling assignment. It's a place to start.
Okay. That's more good evidence.
Beautiful girl. Clothes certainly aren't from the Sears catalog.
Alright. I think that might be the end of our investigation. Not like it really matters. But let's check the kitchen before we talk. See if there's anything here we can take a look at. No, I don't care about this. Alright. Let's talk, miss.
I'm Detective Phelps. I'm here to try and help Julia. Do you mind answering some questions?
Virginia Reynoldson, I'm just so shocked. I feel like there's something I should be doing, someone I should call.
We can make those calls, ma'am. Who needs to be notified?
That's just it. I don't know. Miss Julie doesn't have any family in town. Someone has to set her affairs in order. Mr. Henderson, maybe? Who else is there?
I can't help but notice that her elbows are
Give the
floating in
details to the
space
other
when it feels like they should be on a
detectives,
table.
ma'am. They can try and get in contact.
But let's talk.
Was Miss Randall depressed about something? Upset?
No more than normal.
You looking away immediately is kind of suspicious.
What are you hiding here, Mrs. Reynoldson? Julia was obviously disturbed about something.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I mean... For troubled sleep and depression.
She was taking barbiturates. She couldn't sleep. You must have seen them in her room.
You've seen the pillbox, the things she hid in there. I don't know how she supported herself. Always new clothes and jewelry. She lived like a movie star. A princess. Does modeling really pay that well?
I hate that the music is still playing right now, because it's actually distracting me. But yeah, that was a bit of a yikes statement, no more than normal.
Did Miss Randall have many friends visit?
I'm not sure. I only come around twice a week.
She had a fucking smoking jacket in her room, lady. There's clear, like, ladies don't wear that shit.
To me, Mrs. Reynoldson. Julia had men stay here.
I will not speak ill of the dead. You can't prove that.
She had a smoking jacket in her room. That is clear evidence of someone being in here.
Who owns the smoking jacket?
I wouldn't like to tell tales, you understand. That's Mr. Henderson's. An older man, very distinguished looking. He seemed very much in love with her.
Where would we find him?
I'm sorry.
Thank God for
I don't
subtitles.
know. He said he lives in San Francisco.
What if it snowed in San Francisco?
What was it like working for Miss Randall?
Perfectly fine, officer.
I don't believe you for a second. You hated that bitch.
You're hiding something, Mrs. Reynolds. There's something about Julia's past that you don't want to tell me.
And how do you come to that conclusion, young man? What makes you think I know anything about her past?
So I don't have any actual evidence.
Looks like I made a mistake.
So maybe it's doubt.
Mrs. Reynolds, it seems like there's something you want to tell me.
She was very high-strung. Lovely one moment and screaming at you the next. She wanted it all, and she wanted it damn quick. Of course, being so beautiful, it seemed like she was going to get it. Not the way it's turned out, though, is it?
Thanks, Mrs. Reynolds. You've been very helpful. One of the other detectives will take your statement, and then you can go home.
I think our work is done here.
I agree, Mr. Roy Earl.
Stefan, Rusty, we'll take a look around outside and then follow up these leads. Can you get some guys to run down the jacket?
It is actually like...
Carruthers has called it right?
He rarely gets it wrong.
I don't know. I'm with Galloway. I've met enough girls in my time who can't handle their dope.
I love that Cole's strategy is trust the coroner, and like it tends to work out for him. It's like he's not even doing anything particularly like skillful. He's like, okay, the coroner says it's probably murder, therefore I believe him because he's the coroner and has experience.
You can drive.
All right, where to?
And like, I'll be honest, I'm glad Burkowski is back because he's probably one of my favorite partners in the game. I do not miss Rusty. And like the fact that Roy Earl's like, oh no, I'm with Rusty is like all you really need. Oh no, wrong car, wrong car, wrong car, wrong car. We gotta use Roy Earl's fancy man vehicle over here. Come on, fancy man. Drive your fancy man car.
I need to go over the case notes.
This is the car of a fancy man, Roy Earl.
Bukowski, Galloway, quite the little reunion in there. Almost brought a tear to my eye.
They're good police.
How would you know? You got promoted so fast you barely had time to learn their names. Let me fill you in. Bukowski's a pushover. Galloway's a drunk.
You could learn a thing or two from both of them.
Please. They couldn't work a vice case if their life depended on it.
I don't see why they'd be any better or worse at it than me.
I noticed you said better. Hubris disguised as humility. Kind of your trademark, don't you think?
Why do you always twist everything? Galloway's got nothing to prove. He's been on Homicide for years.
And he's welcome to it. You're a terrier, Phelps, and that's what I need. Not some old bulldog who can't get up a flight of stairs without coughing up his lunch.
I agree with Phelps, or with Rusty about Galloway, but Burkowski's cool. For a guy in the 40s. It's a bit of a strong qualifier. I have no idea what we're doing in here, but let's find out. Oh, this is the doctor's office, I think, actually. Yeah. I'm a policeman who knows what he's doing.
I swear, if we locked up every doctor in this town, Vice would be able to work half days.
Mr.
Yes,
Stoneman.
Sir, your name?
LAPD. We'd like to see Dr. Stoneman.
Dr. Stoneman is with a patient. Would you like to wait?
No, we wouldn't. Tell him we want to see him now.
There's no need to be rude.
Save it, sister.
Dr. Stoneman, I have some gentlemen from the LAPD here to see you.
Send them in, please.
I love
see the
the
station again after they've left.
enunciation on gentlemen.
Your investigation is much more important than my sciatica. I'm just in pain here. Leave me alone.
Dr. Stoneman, we are investigating the death of one of your patients, Julia Randall.
I'm very sorry to hear that.
Do you mind if we ask
Nice
you some
suit.
questions about Ms. Randall?
Not if it doesn't compromise doctor-patient privilege, Detective.
How well did you know Miss Randall?
Barely at all. She'd only been a patient 6 months or so.
I don't believe you for a second.
Julia Randall has been your patient for nearly a year. I'm sure you know that.
Do you doubt my veracity, Detective? Do you have access to my patient records?
Your prescriptions contradict you, Doctor.
Miss Randall was in the fashion business, as you probably know. She was jumped up on Benzedrine by day and knocked down by sleeping pills at night. I told her to slow up, but no. Life was too short for her.
And you supplied the prescription for the Benzedrine.
It's not illegal, Detective. A lot of young women in her line of work use it for weight loss.
Right, but you can't just, like, you literally can't say that you're her that she's your patient for half a year. Like, that's just a straight up lie. Like, come on. It's such a transparent lie. That's... Why would you even lie about... What is the purpose of making that lie? You can just check records.
You wrote Julia Randall a prescription for Benzedrine. How can you account for that?
Miss Randall was in the fashion business. She wanted to control her weight.
Now, I don't know if that's lie or doubt. Let's see what lie gives me.
We believe Miss Randall died of an overdose of morphine. You didn't prescribe her anything else, did you?
That is a very serious allegation to level at a doctor, young man.
Okay, I can't actually prove the connection there.
Looks like I was
so
mistaken.
It's very clearly doubt.
Benzedrine is addictive, as I'm sure you know, Doctor.
As I warned her, but she was determined. She said she needed it to control her appetite.
Sounds like you knew her pretty well.
I knew the line of work she was involved in.
That'll be all for now, Dr. Stoneman. We'll be in touch.
I don't know who's the bigger pig here, Roy Earl or the doctor. Cole Phelps has no indoor voice, Kelly. And, you know, it's not like he cares if the doctor gets dragged through the coals in his own clinic. That's fine. So, we've asked the doctor some questions. You know, I'm sure we'll be back here at some point, because I remember this. If I remember this case right, we come back here a couple times. But,
The old boy's lying.
obviously, Roy.
About what?
I don't know. He looked relieved when you said she was dead. That's a strange reaction to have to the death of a young patient.
Correct. Maybe you're not as useless as I think you are, Roy Earl. Listen, if a punk like you can investigate a Vice case, I'm sure Rusty can do it. Probably while he's still drunk. Because you're not that, that much better.
Fine. Where are we headed?
Let's go to the boutique she worked.
Have you noticed how Croakers only pull out the physician-patient privilege card when they got something to hide?
There are certain things people have a right to keep private.
Until it gets in the way of police work. And it's only private when it suits them. A couple of drinks and every doctor I've met will spill your darkest secrets in a heartbeat.
Roy is again being that sterling example of what a good cop should be like. Fucking pig. All cops should aspire to be like Roy Earl. That's so deeply corrupt and useless. So deeply, transparently corrupt.
LAPD, ma'am.
I hope I haven't done anything wrong.
No, ma'am. We're making some inquiries about Julia Randall. Does she work here?
No, I had to let her go. Is she in some sort of trouble?
She was found dead this morning.
She's dead.
How long had Julia worked as a model?
Well, she worked in New York before coming here. She was a very beautiful girl.
I see no reason to doubt you.
Could you tell us why you let Miss Randall go?
Husbands sometimes come in here with their wives. When Julia Randall modeled, the husbands were often more interested in her than they were their wives' dresses. The wives weren't happy, and neither was I.
Did she have any close friends here?
Actually, yes. Heather Swanson. Would you like to speak with her?
I'd like that very much. Please don't inform her about Miss Randall's death.
Very well, officer. Heather? These gentlemen are from the LAPD.
I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl. I understand that you worked with Julia Randall, Miss Swanson?
Yes. Julia helped me get my job here. She's not in any kind of trouble, is she?
She's a hellraiser, isn't she? Lives a fast life.
Oh, no. Maybe Mrs. Stanley would call her that, but I wouldn't. She's full of life, wonderful company.
That's a lovely engagement ring.
Do you like it? Henry gave it to
I'm
me.
very interested in engagement rings. Do you mind if I take a closer look? That's some pearl, Miss Swanson. Would have cost Henry a fortune. He must really love you.
I love the way, like, Cole Phelps can be coy with someone when he needs the information. Also, I meant to mention this earlier, but one of the important things to note about Roy and Cole's relationship is that they are two people who realize that A, they work really well together, and B, they can't stand each other. They each have a huge reason to hate the other one. Unfortunately for them, they also are good case people when they are partnered up, because their particular flaws, when put together, end up making something that's vaguely a coherently functioning individual.
You can't stand around here all day looking vacant. It's embarrassing.
However, that's kind of like a Rockstar thing. It's like we were talking about this with the Homicide desk with Cole and Rusty, and it's a very similar dynamic where both of them can't stand each other. Their particular flaws just don't mesh well together. Well, they do mesh well together, just in a way that is like teeth-clenching partnership, which is unhealthy. But Rockstar seems to be like of the opinion in several games that they've made that kind of works. Burkowski, I think, genuinely likes Phelps. Like he thinks that Phelps is a good dude. There are people in this world who do like Phelps. He is married and has a child. And we'll get into it later, but there are also other people that maybe if they don't hate Phelps, they at least grudgingly respect him as an ally.
Don't go away, detective. I want to know what this is about.
How did you meet Julia?
I was introduced through my fiancé, Henry Arnett.
I don't have a reason to doubt you.
Henry is your beau. Tell us about it.
Yes, he is. Henry has a fashion business. He and Julia have been friends for years.
Are Miss Randall and Mr. Henderson engaged?
Who's he?
Julia was kept by this Henderson character. The apartment, clothes, jewelry. Was she a call girl?
How would I know? What evidence is there that says that Julia is a prostitute?
I can't prove that at all.
Sorry. Sometimes you have to shake the tree to see what falls out.
Automod is now allows you to say sack of shit. What is that face you're making at me?
Are Miss Randall and Mr. Henderson engaged?
Who's he?
She was wearing a sapphire engagement ring. Someone must have given it to her.
She never mentioned a man named Henderson to me.
That's all for now, Miss Swanson. Could you ask your fiancé
Hey,
to visit
Steve.
Hollywood Police Station? It would be very helpful to our inquiry.
Now, wait a moment. I don't think I'll pass on that message until you tell me why you're asking all these questions.
Julia Randall was found dead this morning.
What? Oh, no. Oh, I can't believe it. She was so full of life.
She was full of life, yeah. Oh, we have a call. Let's make a call. Let's see what what's our messages say.
Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
Any messages?
Yes, Detective. The coroner's been asking to speak to you. I can connect the call if you like.
Please, thank you. Al?
Cole, can you get over here? I just finished the autopsy.
Sure thing, Mal. We'll be right over.
Alright, now it's time for the smart guy to tell us smart guy things. Let's do it. Let's get some smart guy things in our life.
You know the way. You can drive.
Do we know where we're going?
Nice move not telling old Sweet Lips in there about her friend taking the big jump till we were half out the door. Very slick.
I figured we'd get more out of her that way.
You're learning, Phelps. We'll make a vice cop out of you yet.
Cole's a better cop than you are, Earl. Like, he's a bad man, but a better cop than you. Let's go to the morgue. Let's see what the coroner say about this case.
You just cracked. As the cannibals finished off eating the clown.
Oh,
one
this
said,
is his office. I'm going to go into
"What
this
did you-"
room, yeah.
Cole, Roy, I have some information for you.
You're the only person enjoying this, Mal. Get on with it.
The bruising confirms 2 sets of hands, so we have 2 killers. Death was caused by heart failure due to an overdose of morphine.
Have you dragged us down here to gloat? We already heard your theory.
We agree that she was murdered.
Yes, of course.
I have something else to
New
say.
clue murder.
All right, Mal, what gives?
The dead guy's name is Jimmy Leblanc, career burglar. He came in this morning. Someone stove his head in with a lump of 2x4.
So what? Good riddance.
I found 2 cigarettes in his jacket pocket.
Wow.
Hang on a minute, Roy. We're listening now.
No sign of morphine use and no metabolized morphine in his blood. Scratch marks on his face.
Which could be from getting his head remodeled.
Time of death, Mal.
Maybe an hour or 2 after the Randall girl.
So you're saying Laughing Boy here could be one of our killers? That's a hell of a long shot.
Thanks, Mal. We'll check it out.
I found something else.
What did you find?
Sorry, I don't play.
I don't know if it's significant. His wallet was empty. The only other things he was carrying were the harmonica and the morphine. Carruthers. Yeah, he's here. I'll send him over. They have a guy called Henry Arnett in interview 2 for you next door. Let me know how you get on.
Sure, Mal. And thanks for the lead.
Sure, Mel. Thanks for the lead.
No one likes Roy Earl. Alright, let's go to the police station. That's right over here. And interview some people.
Someone ought to take him home.
Hollywood Police Station.
I recognize that guy from the papers.
Interview room 2 is...
I'm telling you, it'll never stick.
Where? Interview room 2. Oh.
Mr. Arnett, I'm Detective Phelps. This is Detective Earl. Thanks for coming in.
Call me Henry. It's the least I could do. Terrible news about Julia.
Fiance for this Swanson and friend of Julia Randall.
How well did you know Julia Randall?
Vaguely. I'm in the clothing business, and Julia occasionally modeled for me.
I don't know if I believe you.
Come clean with us, Arnett. Was Miss Randall your mistress? Is that how she could afford such a lavish lifestyle?
That's a ridiculous allegation. How could you possibly prove that I paid for Julia's things?
I can't really
You're off
prove
the
that.
hook
That's not really good
for
for
now.
I can prove. But I don't think he's telling the truth.
He's asking whether you banged her in a chuck on the shoulder fraternity kind of way.
I'm engaged to be married. It wouldn't be polite.
Answer the question.
This will remain private. Heather won't have to know. Yes. We had relations.
That was funny. Oh, how clutch pearls. How I would never. Oh, but would you? Did you? Yeah, I did. Like that's literally what just happened in like 2 seconds. He went from "oh, I could never" to "yeah, I totally did it." That's like didn't even try to keep it a secret. Like 2 seconds is all it took for him to break.
Miss Randall's landlady said she was seeing an older man.
Could have been. I wasn't privy to all the details of Julia's private life.
Henry, I don't like when people lie to me. She was seeing a man named Henderson. You know who I'm talking about.
Easy on, Detective. I may have heard of Henderson, but I don't know his full name. I think he's from New York or someplace back east.
Okay, I can't prove that you know who Henderson is.
You don't ask, you never find out.
You absolutely know who Henderson is.
Spill it, Henry. You know nothing about a man named Henderson?
Yes, you're right. Henderson, yeah. Very distinguished.
How about a first name, wise guy? An address, maybe?
I'm sorry, I don't. I think he lives somewhere out of town. Somewhere back east.
Ever heard of a Jimmy Leblanc?
No. Should I have? Is he an entertainer or something?
Seriously?
I think you're lying. I think Randall was a high-priced hooker, and this Henderson character didn't want it to come out that he had been seeing her. I think he had Leblanc and an accomplice bump her off. I think you know who Henderson is, and you're trying to conceal his identity.
I think you've been out in the sun too long without your hat. Prove that I know who Henderson is.
I actually... Am I supposed to use the ring as proof here?
Sorry. My mistake.
Let me use an intuition point to see... Okay.
So you wouldn't have any reason to believe that Leblanc would be involved in Julie Randall's murder?
If this guy is a criminal, he might have been involved. But like I said, I've never heard of this Leblanc character.
Heather told us that you were in fashion.
That's right.
I'm telling you, it'll never stick and you'll get roasted. some kind of traveling salesman?
Once I got out of the Corps, I used my...
You were in the Marines?
Sure. I'm proud of it. Fighting 6th.
You were in the 6th Marines?
Yes. I was a captain.
Which company?
Various companies. We had a lot of casualties.
Which engagements?
Okinawa. A couple of other places.
That will be all for now, Henry. You've been very helpful.
That son of a bitch was never in the Marines. Why'd you let him off the hook?
Because we're giving him a couple of minutes before we start tailing him. Arnett is an amateur. We need to find out who killed the girl. Can you pass this on to Bukowski? Have him check the place out and go through his records.
Sure, I'll pass it on.
Thanks. Can you also have R&I run the records on a Jimmy Leblanc and find out who was his last arresting officer? Have them get in touch via KGPL when they have some information.
I mean, he's the most obvious liar in the world, so I don't blame Royale for being pissed off.
He's in that car at the lights.
So let's tail him.
He was squirming like a worm in there. Don't you love it when they pull the war hero excuse? Actually, maybe you don't.
I mean, yeah. Cole Phelps sends to hate people who call themselves war heroes. Stop driving like a jackass.
Now would be a bad time to forget how to drive.
I'd have expected a cad like Arnett to be a better liar.
I would too. Yep, it's tailing mission, Kelly. Just good old tailing. Yep, I'm completely inconspicuous. This is good tailing, guys. Completely inconspicuous.
Where are you taking us, Henry?
Too close, Phelps. Way too close.
Yeah, like, totally. You'd think in any reasonable... Like, if someone's keeping your distance like this from you, you're probably thinking they're tailing you. To be perfectly honest. Or if they're running through traffic the way I am, they're probably tailing you.
That's it. We're spotted. Back off. Back off.
Also, I hate tailing missions.
He was squirming like a worm in there. Don't you love it when they pull the war hero excuse? Actually, maybe you don't.
I just noticed that Roy Earl's actor is giving him like a smoker's kind of like raspy voice.
You got a pretty funny idea of what keeping a low profile means, Phelps.
I'd have expected a cad like Arnett to be a better liar.
Yeah, Steve, I'm with you. Like, the speed is driving actually, like, with the oncoming traffic, is actually making it a little harder than I'd like it to keep up with him in a reasonable distance. Doubly so given the short street lengths some of these turns are. The problem with telemissions is that, like, you cannot go a reasonable speed, actually. Like, you can't keep up a steady pace. You end up, like...
Where are you taking us, Henry?
Hitting the gas and then letting off on the gas and then hitting the gas and, like, letting off in, like, not even a steady motion, like, in a kind of, like, an odd pattern. And it doesn't ever feel good. It never feels good. But, games keep letting you making you do it for some reason. And I'm not, like, I guess this was still in vogue when I played Noire was out, but, like, and thankfully, it's not as commonplace as it is now as it was back then, but Whenever you see one, I still get the yikes.
God damn it. Everyone's looking at us, Cole.
That idiot never stepped foot in Okinawa.
Yeah, that is the problem, Kelly. There is no like reasonable steady pace. It is either the Taylor mission like victim is going too slow or too fast. And neither one feels good. And the ideal pace for one person is going to be different for another person, so you can never get the ideal like ratio for all players. Someone's going to be feeling like this is the wrong speed.
He needs money and fast.
He pawned something.
Get in there and find out what he pawned. I'll stick with him. See how he intends to spend the money. Too much slack. Gotta get closer.
Hoof it, Phelps. I'll
So
bring the
now
car
we're
around when
physically
I'm done
tailing
here.
him.
What are you doing?
Speaking of, I hate tailing missions in video games.
Move in. Can't risk losing the trail.
Hoof it, Phelps. I'll bring the car around when I'm done here.
There's the guy.
What are you doing?
How are you? You literally cannot see me right now. Bullshit. Bullshit.
Too much slack. Gotta get closer.
Hoof it, Phelps.
Could you
I'll
not
bring the
start
car
me
around
off
when I'm done here.
at a distance where I have to sprint? Please? Don't do that. That's a little fucked up. This game needs like an Assassin's Creed-esque fast walk option, where you're not quite running, but you're not quite really walking either. Okay, now I gotta... Okay. I was turning and he's not, so... I'm not going incognito, it's too far. Smooth as silk, baby. Smooth as silk.
That's that cop. Seemed like a decent guy.
What are you doing?
Are you fucking serious? Fuck this game. You know what? Yeah, skip this. That was the good thing Alienware did, is you could skip this stupid shit. No one wants to watch a tailing mission. No one wants to be in a tailing
One-way
mission.
ticket, please. Next available seat.
That would be 1 day from now. Is that okay?
It's going to have to be.
LAPD, the man who just came in here, he bought a ticket?
Yes, sir. To Mexico City tomorrow night.
If you hear from him again, don't mention this conversation.
What have you got?
He bought a ticket for Mexico City tomorrow night.
That's good. But this is better.
My God, it's Fabergé.
Should have seen the look on the pawnbroker's face when I told him to hand it over. The guy who owned the joint thought it was worth at least 10 large for a cigarette case.
Damn.
Barnett only got 600 clams.
It's engraved. You can't sell that. Yeah, I agree, Kelly. Like, the fact that the tail mission's there is also a problem, even if you can skip it. Like, that... Oh.
You're behind the wheel.
I should call.
Where are we going?
Let me call. There's a phone. I gotta make a call. Oh, there. The phone's over here in this phone booth.
Operator, give me R&I.
Putting you through now. How can I help, Detective?
Cole Phelps, badge 1247.
How could I help, Detective?
Messages for me, please.
Yes, Detective. Detectives Bukowski and Galloway request you return to the Hollywood station. They have information in the Julia Randall case.
Any luck with the arrest record check on Jimmy Leblanc?
Yes, Detective. Jimmy LeBlanc's last arresting officer was Patrolman Fred Wallace. He's posted the Hollywood 9th Beat Sunset Boulevard between Gordon and Wilcox.
Thank you.
I'm going up to the lakes to watch the races on Saturday.
But yeah, I'm really glad that game did away with telling missions, because they were never fun.
You drive. I need to go over the case notes.
Fine. Where are we headed?
Let's go back to the station. Talk to Bukowski and Galloway.
A one-way ticket to Mexico. Old Henry's looking as guilty as a dog next to a pile of dog shit.
What's his motive?
I can think of a few, but I'd put my money south of the belt. One guy plus two dames always equals problems.
I wonder how Roy Earl's actor felt about doing this character, because this character is not a good person. Like, you gotta kind of bathe yourself in sleaze to sell this.
Hang on, I'll dig out a copy for you. Here you go.
Thanks.
Is the cigarette case on there?
It's here. Arnett must be out of his mind trying to move this while under a murder cloud.
Beverly Everstrom. So where are Galloway and Bukowski? I was under the impression they needed to meet us, so... Is this all we're here for?
In there and find the goddamn evidence.
You can drive.
Guess so.
All right, where to?
Let's go to the robbery victim. Oh, he's quiet. Didn't say anything. That's unusual for Roy Earl.
House.
LAPD, ma'am. Is Mrs. Eavestrom in?
She is. Would you follow me, sir?
Yeah, let's talk to her.
I am Mrs. Eavestrom. How may I help you?
We appear to have recovered some stolen goods that belong to you, ma'am.
Yes, of course. That terrible burglary. Would you like something to drink?
No, thank you, ma'am. We have some questions, if you don't mind.
I like that subtle
Why would I
motion.
mind, young man, if you are returning 43 pieces of my property.
Okay, before we get down to that, I'll have a scotch. Thanks, straight up.
Maria, can you get the detective a drink, please?
I actually liked the whole "no thanks, we're good" as Roy Earl was about to order some alcohol from the person we're talking to. That was a really subtle, like, little touch. I appreciate that.
Can you describe to us what was stolen?
It would be easier to describe what wasn't stolen, Detective. A priceless tiara that has been in the family for 50 years. A Fabergé cigarette case that was worth $25,000.
This is the easiest lie in the world because we literally said it was worth 10 grand a few minutes ago.
Why are you lying about the value of your jewelry, Mrs. Eavestrom?
Who do you think you are, making heinous accusations in my own home?
I mean, that's literally all we know about her, and frankly, that's all that matters about her. So yeah, valued at $10,000.
We recovered the cigarette case from a pawnbroker. No one knows the real value of an item better than those guys.
I inflated its value for the insurance claim. There. Are you satisfied? My daughter's boyfriend was quite taken with the case. I think he was even more disappointed than I was when it was stolen.
What can you tell us about the burglary?
That terrible night. At least a year ago. But let's not go into that. Let's talk about what you've recovered.
So this is one of those times where good cop, bad cop, and accuse make so much more sense than truth, doubt, or lie. And the fact that the answer is let's not talk about that, and then I'm given the prompt truth, doubt, or lie, is just... Whoa! What do you even do if you don't know that that actually means good cop, bad cop, accuse? What do you do if you're just this random player?
Maria, I think we'd best get this officer a drink to get him moving. He looks rather gormless.
So, I'll accuse.
I think you know more about this burglary than you were letting on, Mrs. Eavestrom. There isn't an insurance claim involved, is there?
Are you accusing me of having my own home burgled? How dare you? What possible proof do you have for this scandalous remark?
I don't have any proof of this.
It's nothing personal. I'm just doing my job. You understand that?
But this seems like a moment where bad cop is the right stance.
I get the sense that you're worried about something, Mrs. Eavestrom.
I don't
I've already
fucking know.
received the insurance claim, Detective. Is there any way we could keep the return of these items discreet?
That's about it for now, Mrs. Eavestrom. The department will get in touch and let you know how you can recover your valuables.
You've only mentioned a few of the items that have been stolen, Detective. What else has been recovered?
You see, Phelps? That's why you get the drinks in early.
Hello, Mother. Hello, detectives. What is going on?
We'd like to ask exactly the same question.
You have met my daughter?
This morning at work. Oh, Mother and Father divorced. I took my father's name.
The detectives recovered some of the things that were stolen, darling.
Well, what did you find?
A sapphire ring on the corpse of Julia Randall.
What are you talking about?
Your engagement ring, Miss Swanson. Would you be surprised to know that it was part of the proceeds of a burglary?
That's an outrageous allegation.
Yes, it is. I suggest we go straight to Henry Arnett's place and sort this mess out.
Wow, Phelps, you are a smooth operator.
That's the lemon wash whistle. That means pots and pans are lemon wash clean. It makes work up to
We're missing something here. Arnett is obviously arranging the burglaries.
That's my fiance you're making scurrilous accusations about.
And Randall was obviously his partner.
But neither of them are the type to creep apartments.
You're being ridiculous. Both of you. There's a very good explanation for all of this.
Put a sock in it, sister. You're being played for a patsy and you're not even smart enough to see it.
Out of my way, you foolish people.
Christ!
KGPL calling car 11K. 11K come in. 11K, message from Detective Bukowski. Murder victim Jimmy Leblanc's record shows he most often worked with an accomplice. Caucasian male, approximately 6'2", 220 pounds, heavily built, known only as Willie.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm a good driver, guys.
Straight over. Keep straight. Go straight over.
I wish I remember
Go
what the siren
straight at the
button
next
was.
intersection. Next left. Next right. It's much more fun with the siren on, Phelps.
I don't know how to turn the siren on, guys, so you'll have to
take the next left.
You'll have to suffer, Roy Earl, because I don't remember how to put the siren on, and I don't really care.
Go straight over. Go straight at the next intersection. Keep straight. Straight on.
It is actually kind of fun to constantly ask for directions.
It's the next right. You really know how to put a passenger at ease. Take the next right turn.
Take the next right turn.
Take a left, here. It's the next right.
Why do they make you drive this far? Like, why couldn't we just fast travel? Why?
Go straight at the next intersection.
This is just filler.
Go straight. Stay straight on this road. Take the next right. It's the next left.
Take the next left.
Yeah, this is very... I agree, Kellerack. This is extremely immersive.
Straight over.
I am super immersed in what's going on right now. This is an immersive,
Go straight over.
open world that totally makes this game better
Keep
by
going
its mere
straight.
presence.
It's the next right. Keep straight. Stay straight on this road.
Alright, are we done yet? There we go. Fuck off with that driving. This case is unusually long. Like, most cases don't take
Come
much
on,
less time than
sister.
this.
Let's find out who your fiance really is.
A newspaper? But I can't use it. It's the 40s, Kelly. You can't. They didn't have GPS, obviously.
Welcome,
Duh.
sir. I'm sorry. Are you a resident?
LAPD detectives. We're here to speak to Henry Arnett.
Oh, Mr. Arnett? Apartment 30. You can take the lift.
Thank you.
Why isn't there a map line? Because that would not be immersive, Steve. Obviously, we're here for immersion in Rockstar games. The open world is for immersion.
Well, isn't this just nice and awkward?
So you gotta ask for directions instead.
Stop! LAPD!
Don't kill him, Cole. This guy's our case.
Go on, put your hands in the air.
You could move faster, Cole Phelps. That'd be nice.
Give it up, LAPD.
Yep, we doing this, fam.
Don't make me chase you.
Don't make me chase you. Don't make me chase you. There's never a sadder quote than "Don't make me chase you." So I'm gonna get slugged.
Looks like he got you good, Phelps.
Yeah, he really packs a wallop. How did I get back here?
Under your own steam, miraculously. You came in through the window, said hello, and then keeled over.
How was Arnett?
He's coming around, too. He's all hopped up. Good time to get some answers.
You missing something, Henry?
I like that he's still shaking it off. That's a good little detail.
You told Heather you're honeymooning without her?
Let's see what watch this is.
Vacheron Constantine. That's an extremely expensive watch, Henry.
A graduation present from my parents.
Sure, I believe you. I believe Cole Phelps' hat's on the street level at this point. Kellerack. It fell off the plank.
I don't think this is going to help us.
Let's see if there's anything else around here. Probably not, but let's just take a look. Okay. Nothing else to see here. Oh, that's nice watermelon texture. Actually, no, the textures in this game are all kind of bad by today's standards. They were great at the time, but time marches on. Let's talk.
We know all about the jewelry ring. You and Randall and Leblanc and Willie doing the legwork.
I'm in the fashion business.
You're lying, Henry.
How can you prove that I'm involved, detective?
You stole a Fabergé cigarette case!
Because you pawned a Fabergé cigarette case today for $600. A case that is on a list of stolen items.
It was Julia's idea. Get a list of society parties, and find out where and when, and then have the guests.
I love the wife's reaction in all of these shots. They are precious.
No matter how much we made, she always wanted more.
Why did Reed and LeBlanc kill Julia Randall?
I wanted to stop, to get out of that life. I was gonna marry Heather if she'd have me. Julia told the others that they were out, that she was gonna create a new gang.
I don't believe you for a fucking second.
You're lying, Arnett. I think you ordered them to kill her. It was made to look like suicide, and when the coroner saw through that, you knew it was time to run.
I told you I was involved in the burglaries. I had nothing to do with Julia's death. Why would I need to run?
I mean, you took a train ticket. You tell me.
Have you told Miss Swanson that you're leaving for Mexico City tomorrow night? That it's a one-way ticket?
Henry? Tell me it isn't true.
I had no choice. I wanted to marry Heather. I told Julia I wanted out, and she laughed in my face. I had to pay Willie and Jimmy a fortune to do her, and now I'm completely broke.
What you are, Buster, is under arrest.
He just confessed to trying to off her. That's it.
Who is Henderson, and what is his involvement?
Tell them what you know, Henry. I'll stand by you if you'll only tell the truth.
There is no Henderson.
Tell me about your first burglary, and don't lie.
I can't remember. I don't keep a list of these things.
What the fuck does that accusation have to do with that question, Cole Phelps? Who is Mr. Henderson? I don't know. Tell me about the first robbery! What? Okay, you're obviously not telling the truth.
Give it up, Arnett. You're facing the gas chamber. Give the judge some reason to commute.
You still don't get it, do you? Julia entrapped everyone. She was so beautiful. So goddamn cold.
Henry Arnett, you are under arrest for burglary and for the murder of Julia Randall.
Henderson is Stoneman, all right? I'm not the guy you want. Go talk to the good doctor.
Oh, we will, knucklehead. Meanwhile, we're fitting you for convict stripes.
Why do they even bother making me ask the question? They're just gonna tell me anyway. So yeah, the doctor was the ringleader of the robbery ring. Like that's the weird thing is that like the game, because I've talked about this before in previous LA Noire streams, I won't mention again. In something like a Phoenix Wright, if you get the question wrong, you're just given enough. You'll just take a ding in your character's confidence and get to try again. And that way you are guaranteed to go through the correct sequence because there's only one sequence, the visual novel. But here in LA Noire, because there is a fail-state, you can just get the question wrong, and that's it. They have to find a way to railroad you to the correct path. You have to be able to have you have to be able to have a path where if you screw up every single question and get the minimum amount of evidence, you can still win the mission. And in order to facilitate that, the game tends to stretch credulity in some spaces. Like, in this case here, why bother making me ask the question of who Henderson is if you're just going to have him reveal it anyway because you need me to know it? That's pointless. It's a waste of time.
Can you drive to this one?
Do we know where we're going?
It's one of those little things where like if it was like I got it wrong, I had to try again.
He only robbed her mother and killed her best friend. Cut the guy some slack.
So how does the doctor fit in?
That's what we're about to find out. Maybe we should ask him to give you a quick once-over. That meathead gave you one hell of a pasting.
I've had worse.
You should have seen yourself staggering back in there like a drunken sailor.
Next time you can take the runner, Roy.
I didn't box in the Marines, though, did I?
Should have never told you that.
But in all sincerity, it's like little things like that start irking me in this game. Like this game has a lot of like little things that are annoying to deal with. Even at the time, were annoying. Like this isn't like a product of the game's age. The game isn't that old. Like this game, people still knew. Like people hated telemissions even in this time, even during this era.
Time for the doctor to give us something to make this all better.
Hang on a moment, sister. Tell him it's Henry Arnett, and tell him it's urgent.
I can't do that.
Tell him, or I'll charge you with obstruction of justice.
Doctor, I'm afraid Mr. Arnett is here to see you, and he says it's urgent.
Send him in.
I told you never to come.
Tell us the truth, Doctor.
so glad you came. Prison will be better than insanity, and I'm already half insane with grief. Do you know that I loved her? I ruined my life for her, and yet I still love her.
Will you testify in court that Arnett and Randall did these robberies?
They organized the robberies. Julie would get the names of the guests attending my wife's parties. Didn't matter how much money I showered upon her, it was never enough. She never really cared for me.
Doctor, I'm afraid you're under arrest.
I'm getting so misty-eyed, you little burglary murderer.
Oh, the practice.
Cry me a fucking river.
Cole, Dr. Gerard. No. Please don't cry. I want to see no one. Not my wife or my children, nor my friends. And I don't want a lawyer. Just lock me up and throw away the key. What have I done?
Didn't see that coming.
Lights out. Someone's gonna be mad about that car in the morning. Oh. Phone. Who are you gonna call?
Operator, give me dispatch.
Putting you through now.
I need an ambulance and the coroner immediately to the offices of Dr. Harold Stoneman, 1646 Ivor Street, Hollywood.
En route, Detective. You have a message. Detective Bukowski says the suspect is named Wilson Willie the Wolf Reed, former wrestler. Last known address is an apartment building at the corner of Hollywood and Vine. Detective Bukowski says to meet them there.
On our way.
So let's locate Willie.
We have an address for the runner.
Let's try and wrap this up then.
One more burglar to deal with, and then this case is solved. This is an hour and a half long case. That's unique for LA Noire.
That old boy really fell for that broad.
She was incredibly beautiful, boy.
Would you throw it all away for a woman?
Life has a way of making you pay for your pride.
You're quite the romantic, Phelps. Stick with the percentages. Broken hearts are for chumps.
You're talking from experience.
I certainly am. Oh, I like women as much as the next guy. As long as they're in their place and doing what they're told.
If we don't find you handsome, we'll at least find you handy.
Roy Earl, the paragon of humanity.
Is somebody gonna
I like women as long as she obeys my every word. That's what he said.
You're behind the wheel.
Fine, where are we headed?
It's like this game takes every minute to remind you that your partner's a piece of shit. Does it with Rusty, does it with Roy Earl, and like you're supposed to work with these guys. You're supposed to like be their partners. It's one of those like really like one of those, again, those minor frustrations this game has.
He's around here somewhere. A big guy. Neighbors say he always wears basketball shoes and a cream jacket. And get this. The kids around here say he plays the harmonica.
Find the game well and have the commander set up a dragnet. We want the area closed off. We'll take this side of the street.
All right.
A harmonica playing wrestler. That's a weird one. Think he knits as well?
Just keep your eyes open and your mouth shut. We don't want him to bolt on us.
Wait. Cole. You hear that?
Yep, that's a harmonica. Even this alley over here.
Wilson Reed, LAPD, give yourself up.
Okay. Way to blow your cover. Way to blow your cover, Roy Earl. Okay, I think we're back. Yeah, we're back. Okay, that's good. Yeah, hello. So that's the second time that the stream has crashed for me in the middle, or that the game has crashed me in the middle of the stream. This PC version of this game is a technical mess. If you are interested in Noire, don't play the PC version of this game. It's bad. It's real bad. So let's get back to it, I guess. I hear the Switch version is fine, actually, because it does have the
Monica playing wrestler.
the good cop, bad cop accused, and the game is actually fairly stable.
Your eyes open and your mouth shut.
Although I also hear it's very big in terms of the space it requires for a Switch. So keep that in mind if you do go that route.
Wilson Reed, LAPD, give yourself up.
LA Noire is the thing. Let's do this. We doing this now, fam. Hey, we got past the crash. Must have been a This game must have a memory leak or something. I wonder. Because this should not, like, this is not a very technically demanding game on my PC. I have a fucking 980 in my rig, so it should handle this just fine. Even if it's a few years old. But, this game has not been optimized correctly, because there's no reason for this level of technical issues. Yeah, I can see how this feels like 90s Spider-Man background music. It does have that, like, that veneer.
Hold it. He's got to be around here somewhere. No place to go unless he grew wings. There he is. Waste the son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch really picked a spot for it up here, didn't he? Julia Randall's folks are flying in from New York tomorrow to claim the body. I saw her on the slab. So perfect. Looked like she was made of porcelain. She really made an impression on me.
Leah had that impact on a lot of men.
Christ, it's cold. You guys did good work here today. Roy, I think you should buy your brother officers a drink.
Do you now? That's very generous of you, Lieutenant.
I mean, he's a vegan character. They take a lot of bullets. So... yeah. Cool. With the doctor dead, only Arnett could have revealed the depths of his infatuation with Julia. Whatever. Yeah, this is the Japan story. Cole Phelps in the war. In Okinawa.
The whole company is gone, Hank. The major is dead. We're being overrun. We have to get off of this hill.
That's one of our 50 cals still firing, Cole. The 22nd are still fighting.
War is hell, guys. War is hell.
It's over, Cole. Looks like you're one of the lucky ones.
Say goodbye to your friend Hank, Jack.
He was your friend too, Cole. Is this how you're going to leave him? Are you wounded?
Not a scratch, Kelso.
Well, get up and get out of that fucking hole. Find a stretcher while you're at it so we can get him out of here.
Who's the senior officer here?
I guess that's you, Cole.
You were up here all night?
Yes, sir.
And your command?
Gone, sir.
Sorry to hear that, son. But God damn it, we have beaten these bastards back. It's the beginning of the end, and it was one here. You're a goddamn hero, son. What's your name?
Lieutenant Phelps, sir.
I'm recommending you for the Silver Star and promoting you to first lieutenant.
So that's a story about how Cole got his war medal. He led his unit to complete and utter devastation, leaving himself as the only survivor. What a hero.
Earl Phelps, a shooting at the 111 Club, 6232 Hollywood Boulevard.
Sounds like a homicide beef.
2 of the dead guys caught in the crossfire were carrying Army surplus morphine. Get over there before Homicide tramples all over the place.
We already cleared that up.
Judge in Pasadena took the big sleep yesterday. He had a personal stash of 20 cigarettes. Appears we didn't get all of it.
Yep.
I say we bust in there and find the goddamn evidence.
So we got some more morphine to track down.
Just can't seem to put this morphine to sleep. A dead judge. It's not good.
Everyone has their vices. Even you, Phelps.
I've been in this job 20 years. I never fired my gun.
I've been in this job 20 years, never fired my gun. But man, I wish I had. But yeah, there is a story about Cole Phelps. He's like, that's part of what makes him a glory hound, is that he is a fraud and he knows it.
I read about him in the newspaper.
And he's kind of hoping that if he gets success in the LAPD, it'll make up for the fact that he's essentially been living a lie ever since he got back home from the war.
You know the way. You can drive.
So that is Cole Phelps for you. That is who he is. He is, in the end, a fraud.
Parker and Green
and
are
a
going
pathetic
toe-to-toe
human
for the
being.
top job. There's a change in the wind.
About time.
This wind will be like a tornado, Phelps. Parker's got a puritanical streak. You never know we'll get swept up in a thing like that.
Keep that in mind. There's a new guy who's going to be coming in and cracking down on police misconduct. And Cole Phelps is like, yeah, I'm excited about that.
Bukowski.
Phelps, back again. We're here about the morphine. Over by the bandstand. You can see what's left of the owner, Eddie McGoldrick, 26, former Marine.
I know Eddie McGoldrick. He was a non-com in my old unit.
I'm sorry to hear that, Cole. Waitress said he recently came into some money and bought the club.
Who are the other Vics?
2 musicians, Biddleston and Bow. And get this, they used to be in a 4-piece, but the trombone player and the drummer OD'd.
Don't tell me. Lamont and Tyree? We've met the rest of the band.
Now they're a no-piece.
Do you mind if we take a look around?
Now they're no peace.
You might want to work with the hostess, too.
I'm so funny. But yeah, Burkowski being here in a homicide case, if you didn't have that DLC, makes no fucking sense. Because he's a traffic cop. Okay, I'll admit the no piece made me laugh, but what makes me laugh more is that Roy Earl's, like, this self-satisfied, smug face. It's like, yeah, I made a good joke, didn't I? Laugh at my joke, guys, please. It's the sniveling way he tells joke that I laugh at more than the actual joke itself. Though the joke is not bad. It's like he's trying to get your approval. And now there are no pays. So...
When you're ready to have a civil conversation, we can try again.
Wow.
Well-maintained, custom case. Someone cared for this instrument. What's that click? Neat trick. The case must have cost more than the trumpet.
Alright, so there's a Blue Room ticket.
We should follow up on the musician angle.
And a syringe.
He kept his stash close at hand.
Alright, so that's a good clue. The Blue Room, in case you forgot, is the place that Royal took us where we met that jazz singer. The German jazz singer that Royal beat the shit out of. Yeah, I think he's dead. Let's investigate your pockets, see if you have anything. Okay, there's some morphine in there.
We have a new source, or is this coming from what's left in circulation?
Alright, so... That's another debtor. These are boxes of cigarettes.
Dozen packs to a carton. 100 cartons or more. Looks like a couple of months' supply.
This should last someone a long time, although I guess this is for a corporation, so this would be... Like, this would be commercial use. You'd sell these cigarettes out.
These look brand new. Never fired. They haven't been degreased yet. We could check on the serial numbers.
Is this guy hunting for bear? Look at these things.
They're BARs. You get the odd guy who sneaks one of them home from the war. How did he get 3 of them?
Yeah.
Army surplus morphine, Army surplus weapons, Army surplus valors. Sound familiar?
We should get back to the station and check the details of what exactly was lifted from that ship.
Yeah, it's very possible that this club is connected to the original morphine heist robbery.
Another day, another dollar.
That is the conclusion that we're arriving at, and it's a perfectly logical conclusion at that. So where is the third guy's body? There were 3 Vics, but I only see 2 bodies. Am I missing something? Oh, here's the third body. And this is one of Cole's old war buddies.
Bad luck, Eddie. Okinawa couldn't kill you, but knowing the wrong people in this city.
Looks like he got shot. It's in your other pocket. Boo. You got something for me, Buki? Looks like you got nothing for me, Buki. But that's okay. Let's see what's in this safe here.
They didn't even try to crack the safe.
Yeah, the money's still here. That's interesting. Money and a gun. So let's ask the lady here some questions.
Catch all the good ones first.
Ma'am, I'm Detective Phelps, Administrative Vice Squad.
Welcome to the 111 Club, Detective. Feels like I've had half the LAPD in here today already.
Name the hostess. Description, hostess.
Any idea who did the shooting?
No idea. It was my day off. If I had been here, honey, I'd be full of holes just like the others.
What's this all about? Is Eddie behind on the VIG?
Eddie paid cash, sugar. I have no idea what enemies he might have had.
You're off the hook. For now.
I don't know if you're telling the truth or not. That was less than useful.
You want to level with me, miss, before we start taking an interest in you.
This place has been on the slide for years. Eddie turns up, buys the club, then we start getting visits from tough guys. Next thing you know, we have the St. Valentine's Day massacre. Are you getting the picture?
Tell us about Eddie.
Eddie didn't know a thing about running a nightclub. He came into some money and waltzed in and bought the place. The previous owner thought all his Christmases had come at once.
Yeah, I have no reason to doubt you.
Where do you think you got the money?
My guess was that he was selling the sort of quality product that you don't need to advertise.
Thank you for your help, ma'am.
Eddie was in over his head, but he was a decent boss.
Oh, she cared about him. Kinda.
Find anything interesting?
Yes.
I'm trying to imagine you with a personality.
Let's take...
Can you drive to this one?
Let's head to the Blue Room and talk to some people. It's the lady we met earlier.
Take a break, boys.
We would like them to stay, Miss Lichtman. We're making inquiries into the recent deaths of 4 musicians.
Since when have the police cared about dead black men?
Good point. We don't. What we care about is 2 tons of Army surplus morphine showing up on the street. If you care about working in this town, you better give me something on Biddleston and Bow, or their knucklehead buddies Tyree and Lamont.
And this is your idea of making inquiries? Unterstundenführer?
I've told you 1,000 times about speaking that German gibberish at me, Elsa.
Roy, how about you get a drink while I see to this?
She called him the Fuhrer.
Will you sit down?
She called him Hitler, which, given Roy Earl's personality, is apt.
Know what he's capable of.
Ask your questions, head officer. We have work to do.
People are dying of overdoses. If you know anything about it, you need to tell me.
I can't help you.
A lot of cats are into the thing. There's nothing special about your boys.
I see no reason to doubt, but let's see.
Hopheads appear to get a free pass at this club. You all know about the morphine.
And how do you expect to prove that?
I don't know if this is actually going to be conclusive proof. And I'm going to back out.
It's like I made a mistake.
Question is, do I play good cop or bad cop here? It's really hard to tell because you're not just interviewing her, you're interviewing the musicians as well at the same time. I think Cole will be an asshole.
You can do this the easy way with me, or I can call my partner back over. I can assure you he's a lot less sensitive.
You think your threats frighten me?
Black man don't supply nothing. You think there's a black man in this town holding on to 2 tons of morphine? He'd be dead in a minute. White man supplies, black man buys.
We're again going to this place where the game skirts talking about the racism. I guess they're getting a little more overt about it now, so I will give them some credit for that. But the point, yeah, there was a good point. Like, the people in charge of a drug bust would probably not be the minorities. It would be probably a white dude.
My partner mentioned a couple of names. You recognize them?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, Elsa, he had a pass.
I don't believe you. You knew these men.
Let it go.
And how would you like to prove that, detective? You're out of your depth here, detective, and you're asking the wrong questions of the wrong people.
Okay.
Boys, take 5 minutes, please. I need to have a private word with the officer. Why do you ask people to risk talking about a subject that could have them jailed?
Drugs are against the law, Elsa.
And you're so full of courage, you have never felt ashamed.
This is getting us nowhere.
Do you think you'll win your war against narcotics?
It's not my war. It's against the law. My job is to prosecute the laws of this city.
Do you think you can stop people from needing drugs, detective?
I'm asking the questions here.
Then why do you come to me with your stupid questions? You know who controls the drugs in this city.
It's not enough to just survive, Elsa. You have to try and make the world a better place.
Brave words. Very noble. But words are just words, Cole Phelps.
She's right. We need to pay a visit to the mixer.
Cohen? Do you know where to find him?
This time of day? You'll find him holding court at the Macambo.
He can wait. There's something I need to be sure of. Give me till tomorrow morning.
Don't do anything I wouldn't do, partner.
So this is one of the big things that I remember when I originally played LA Noire really pissed me off. In hindsight, I'm a little less iffy about it than I was back then, but it's still something that does kind of rub me the wrong way. We are going to follow Elsa. We're not going to let it go. But this has much more to do with Cole Phelps as a person than does the actual case. And I don't think you'll know what I mean now, but next stream you'll probably get a clearer picture of what I mean. Because this might be, I don't know if this is the last Vice case, but we're getting close to it. This is the signal of this is signaling that we're arriving at the end of this desk soon. Do you think you'll win your war against narcotics, Cole Phelps? I have to admit, I do like her accent. That's a sexy accent. That is a really sexy accent on a girl. This would actually probably not be a bad note to end this stream on if this is the scene I think it is, and I...
Move in. Can't risk losing the trail.
Yeah, this is the scene. So, to be clear, Cole Phelps is following her to her apartment. We are now at her place of residence.
LAPD, we're looking for Mayor Cohen. I believe he has lunch here.
There's not going to be any trouble, is there?
Which table?
Number 3, if you'll follow me.
So, in case it wasn't obvious, Cole Phelps totally had sex with that lady. And he's a married man with a child.
LAPD. We have some questions.
Hi,
regarding...
Mickey. How's it hanging?
Fine. Just fine, Roy. I see you brought Iga Beaver along. Hope he's not going to put the shakes on me again.
Cole Phelps, Mickey Cohen.
Good afternoon.
He has manners. Aren't you a little green for this kid?
Meet Johnny Stompanato, Cole. He has the biggest schlong in Hollywood and the smallest gun. Or maybe that's the other way around. I can never quite remember.
You're a funny guy, Roy. Haven't I always said what a funny guy Roy is? And how much fun it would be to get together with him sometime?
Poor Johnny. He's the dark, sensitive type. He's a serviceman too, Cole. Johnny was at Okinawa.
You were in the crotch?
6th Marines.
The lieutenant who won the Silver Star up on Sugarloaf. I've heard of you.
Something like that.
All right, have we finished flirting? You got something to discuss, Roy? Or are you going to stand around beating the meat while my lunch gets cold?
We have some questions.
Do I need my lawyer?
So let's talk to Mickey Cohen.
Your brother-in-law, Lenny Finkelstein, was selling stolen morphine. He had 1/3 of the shipment.
Old news, kid. I don't know anything about what Lenny was up to.
You're not telling the truth, but I don't know if that's a lie or a doubt.
Jack Dragna has you on the run. You're muscling the guys who stole the morphine from the ship.
You calling me a liar, kid? You think you can prove that in court? Huh?
No, I can't.
It's nothing personal. I'm just doing my job. You understand that? So I'm supposed to believe that you don't know what happened to the rest of the shipment.
Lenny, God rest his soul, was a moron. He was family, though, and I haven't made a beef about that, so count yourself lucky, kid. The H is a filthy habit. I don't condone it. The simple solution would be to have all the dope fiends put down.
So you don't know where he got the morphine?
Kid, ask a question you might get an answer to.
So, am I gonna even are we gonna acknowledge they just said that it'd be better to kill all the dope fiends than to stop selling dope? Do we even approach that subject? I don't think so. I don't think I'm in the mood to deal with something like that.
We believe there's a link between a group of Marines and the morphine stolen from the SS Coolidge. One of those Marines was shot to death in a club last night.
I wouldn't know anything about that.
I highly doubt that.
I think you're lying. I think the 111 Club was your men. I think you're trying to send a message.
I'll send you a message, kid. You better have some proof that that was one of mine, or else you better have health insurance, huh?
Oh, you missed Cole Phelps having sex with the German lady from the bar. And then Roy Earl followed him as he was having sex, just so that he got the evidence, so he can accuse. Oh no, you must have missed this, Kelly, while you were eating dinner. Cole Phelps fucked the lady that followed her home and then asked to fuck her, which it was consensual. It was consensual. But he totally fucked her. And he's only gonna fuck her a couple times before the wife's desk is over. Because he's in love with her, even though he's a married man with a child. He loves her.
I think your bright spark might have blown a fuse, Roy. Hey, you still there?
Sorry, my mistake. So you haven't heard anything about what happened at the 111 Club?
What can I say, kid? I'm shocked that in the land of opportunity, Uncle Sam's finest feel the need to resort to crime. It's a dangerous business. I can attest to that. I'd recommend they get out of the life. Quickly.
A few Negroes saying goodbye on the sidewalk will never make the papers, Mickey. But we had a judge in Pasadena say adios the other day. Prominent white people popping their clogs makes everyone nervous.
You know dope has never been my thing, Roy. It's always been for schmendricks like Jack D and Jimmy Utley. But I'll ask around and I'll get back to you. Hey, you boys want some lunch? How about a drink?
We'll take a rain check on that. Come on, Cole, we're leaving.
We have to cut that dope. It looks bad with people dying.
We have to get the rest of it. There's no way of watering down the stuff in those little packages. You have to put the squeeze on those guys and get the rest of it.
They don't seem the type to frighten that easy.
We'll see.
What's going on?
That fucking rat Stoker has gone public about Brenda.
Who is Brenda?
Brenda is LA's most famous madam.
And everyone knows it?
Of course everyone knows. Brenda pays her way.
Are we cops or a collection agency?
Whores have been around since the Bible. Our job is to keep it off the street so Joe Citizen and his wife can stroll around unmolested.
Then we should change the law.
Are you out of your mind? Every politician in America is against prostitution, except when they're using them.
So where does Stoker come in?
He objects to the LAPD and the administration taking its cut.
Is everyone in on this?
Yeah, and that's the problem. From a little acorn does a large tree grow. He could bring the whole thing crashing down on us.
Aren't you supposed to be working,
Sir, do you know which robbery detectives are working the Army surplus theft from the Coolidge?
Caldwell and McManus? I saw Caldwell in the squad room not long ago if you want to speak to him.
Thank you, sir. We'll do that.
This way.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try to digest just the amount of things that was said in the past 2 or 3 minutes. Let's see in order. It's okay if black people die, but if a white judge dies, then we have a scandal. So you tell us about the dope, Mickey Cohen. And then we had the detail where they're cutting the dope because Jack Kelso, we know this from the newspapers we've been gathering over the course of the game, negotiated the Army boys' way out of that deal with Mickey Cohen. We already know that, though Cole Phelps doesn't, which makes this kind of a weird blind spot because as the gamer, as the player, we know the truth behind the morphine heist. We know who was involved, we know what happened, and we know that the parties we're talking to are involved. But Cole Phelps doesn't necessarily know that. So there's a little conversation alluding to that too. And if you didn't do the newspapers, you would be completely in the dark about this. And then let's talk about the fact that the LAPD is super dirty, and is taking bribes from all sorts of organized crime, and this is only a problem, and this is a problem for the LAPD because the new guy in charge is trying to crack down on this kind of bribery. At least trying to create the illusion that that's being cracked down on. Even if it's not actually being cracked down on, just to make himself look good in the public. And then there's the thing that Roy Earl just said of politicians are okay with prostitution, but publicly they will disavow the vice, and that their job is to make sure that the white people can go about their day without worrying about drugs, but leave the poor and the black people to suffer the consequences of drugs being in the economy. That is essentially what Royal just said in a nutshell, and the game doesn't really comment on the full effects of that. You do see it in the game, but we don't ever get the like. A lot just happened in the span of a few short minutes. That has socio-political connotations, racial connotations, and there's the fact that Mickey Cohen is an actual, like, if you look in history books, that is an actual organized crime boss that did exist in this era in LA history. Oh yeah, if you consider Rockstar in the modern day, where we have their crunch problem and all of that, yeah, this is and again, to be clear, Rockstar didn't develop this game, they published it. But there's clearly some DNA from their design philosophy in this game. And Team Bondi, after this game released, even though this game sold fairly well, if memory serves, quickly shut down because Brendan McNamara, who is the head of that studio, is also a massive piece of shit who abused his workers. So there's a lot to digest in what literally just happened, and that is unfortunately gonna be how we end this stream. So I'm gonna head out and think about what I'm gonna put in the post for this, because a lot just happened in a very short amount of time, and possibly next episode, maybe the following. I forgot how many cases are left in Vice. I don't think there are many left. We will get to the end of Vice, and we'll see some of these plot threads start to weave themselves together. But until then, take care, guys, and I will see you in 2 weeks from now, because I'm on call next week, and therefore streaming will be difficult. If I can, I will, but I don't. I sincerely doubt I'll have that ability to. So in 2 weeks, I will see you, and we will talk more about La Noire.